This is John.
Hey, this is Mat Kearney calling.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good. Did I miss my window?
You did.
Do you have time now?
Your window is my window, sir.
I like it. Love it.
So, I'm not going to be a typical interviewer. I bought our town's alt weekly entertainment magazine when it folded in COVID. So I'm a lawyer by trade with a motto that's action and compassion and action. I'm 50. I have kids, 3 boys that are 13, 10, and 7. So, we're about the same age with, small kids trying to give love into this world. So I think that's why I'm a big fan as well.
Oh, awesome. That's so cool.
So your music is always playing in our car. Most of the hard questions that I have were scripted by my 13-year-old, okay?
Love it. Love it.
So, some of the kind of standard do you mind if I record?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
Some of the standard questions, I've seen the story about the MAT, Matt, but if you could tell our readers about, that. The spelling of your name.
How there's one T?
Yeah.
Well, I actually didn't know it had one T until the 8th grade when I pulled out the decorative kind of thing they give you at the hospital. They write your weight and your name in cursive.
Right.
And I noticed there was like a red T drawn in on it in ballpoint pen. It said MATHEW with a red T drawn in, and I was like, Mom, what's this? She's like, oh, they misspelled it at the hospital. So I fixed it on your birth certificate. I was like, just because you wrote a letter on it doesn't change the spelling of my name. So then, we looked up the actual spelling, and it had one T. So I found out in the 8th grade.
So you went with it?
I did, yeah. I thought it was cool. At that point in my life, I was like, I'm different.
Well, and it's a story that would follow you for 40 years, I guess,
Yes. I didn't realize yoga would become so popular.
I love it. Okay, so here's the don't sue me confession, okay?
Yeah.
When I left working for other people, I started a radio show called Courts and Sports, and the introduction every week, I hope they paid you a license, but probably didn't, was You Can Count on Me, because it's such a beautiful song, with the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, kids' voices. Who are the kids?
The kids are my producer's kids and some friends of our family that my wife used to babysit, like when we were dating. So
okay.
That record kind of happened like as our relationship was developing into what it is. That's why it's called Young Love.
Right.
I'm meeting my wife, and that was like her world. Like those kids, and then my producer's kids. We got them all in the room, and they all claim they're the loudest one.
That's me.
They will never tell who actually was.
Well, now all the voices have changed, and so.
Oh yeah. Now they're in like college.
So the theme of loving people and appreciating people and hearing people and seeing people is through your music, right? I think that's why me as a dad of a 13, 10, and 7-year-olds can put it on without worry, and there's going to be positive messages,
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
In which part would you say?
Just why are you singing about this instead of, something else?
Well, I think it's a great question. Probably all of the ingredients that go into what I love and what I value and what moves me in music. And, I think like I had like a New Yorker lawyer for a dad. My mom was like marriage and family counselor and like a minister. So you put all that together, I think like, just that, I don't know, the music I stumbled on was just interesting to me. And kind of the use of like almost hip hop influences early in my career.
Right.
Was like the main thing that drew me to music was this. I just had acoustic guitar, couldn't really sing, but I kind of could do this like rhythmic thing, and people really responded to it. But as far as the message, yeah, I mean, I think my faith is a huge part of it.
Right.
Of like trying to create something that tugs at people's heart, you know, and like it cuts to the core of humanity is like a big goal all the time when I'm trying to write a song.
Right.
Probably trying to figure it out for myself.
I love it. I love it. And you know, I'm gonna. You said the L word, so I'm gonna go into it. What kind of lawyer was your dad?
He was. My whole family are lawyers. My grandpa, grandma, step-grandma, step-grandpa.
Wow.
My brother. My dad was. He just general business law. I don't know, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Like general.
Yeah.
Because he was like, the town was small enough where he'd represent he'd represent a bank or something, but then he would do mostly try to make deals, you know.
Yeah.
Like not all the other stuff.
So my kids are lawyer kids, and like my career's been kind of weird and crazy, and like I'm Joe Exotic from Tiger King's lawyer. Like there's weird stuff that have happened, and we've adapted to it, you know, while trying to remain, you know, a Christian, good, wholesome family. And there's something about, you know, our age bracket, in that you and I grew up before the internet, but also have seen it blossom, you know, in goods and bads.
Yes.
And you know, are now raising kids that only are going to know that world. But I guess you kind of give me hope of you know, lawyers' kids turning out well. Sometimes they don't so well.
Yeah, I mean, my dad. I mean, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. That's what he just kept saying, because we would argue for hours. And, you know, I thought I was super smart. I had great arguments. Yeah, that's interesting to say that. In some ways, we were like the last of a kind. Like, we were the last to see the world pre-social media,
right.
Internet, Google Maps.
Much older than us don't, like, they don't get the internet. Like, they're not.
They never had it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And much.
Like my dad's age, and they're just like, what are we doing? I don't understand.
But anybody I know that's like now 40, like I just turned 50 this year. Anybody that I know that's 45 to 50, 52, 53, my wife's 44, so she's kind of in that group. Like, we're just different, you know, and I don't get into all of the generational classes and all that, but
Yeah.
we're just kind of built different, and we kind of see both sides of things more, most of us.
I buy that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So growing up, you know, I have to travel. It's different, but you live for a period of time on the road. I think I've seen a video with your kids on a tour bus.
Yeah, we do it. Me and my wife, more pre-kids, we did it.
Right.
And then all of my oldest would come out, and we'd come out as a family. But we've kind of changed since. Now I have 3 girls, little kids. Like, we don't. It's mostly that I just shorten the amount of time.
Right. Right.
The lengths of tours. So for me, 2 weeks is kind of the max these days. Come home, reset, and then go back out. It's kind of what has been working for our family.
Home's Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in Nashville.
Good.
Since 2000. Yeah, I met a producer who said, hey, man, like we had enjoyed writing music together. He's like, I'm driving to Nashville. You help me drive and we'll record some of your music. And I'd never been there. I'd never even been to the South. And packed up his truck and drove. Slept in the back of it, drove across the country, and then showed up to Nashville. And somehow I'm like still there. It's a 20-something year road trip I've been on.
That's amazing. And to do it, I mean, again, I'm blowing smoke here, but to again do it without sensationalism, to do it honestly is just something that I'm really proud of you for.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people are, like your fans get it. And kudos to that. So I'm going to switch now to 13-year-old Bennett Phillips. So you're going to see the whole Phillips clan when you're at Florida Theater.
I love it.
We all have the little VIP one, so we'll come say hi. What did I do with Bennett? Okay, so this is Bennett Phillips's portion of the interview. I was hoping that he could do it, but they're in school and. I'm not, I almost had him film it, and then I was like, what am I doing? Talk about overproducing. So he typed them out. I'm, without judgment, I'm asking you questions, okay?
Okay, love it.
What song took you the longest to produce?
Ooh, usually the long ones are the ones no one really cares about. So there's probably a lot of them where I spun out for days. And then it became like the 8th song on an album or something. But the longest one that I worked on that worked was Ships in the Night, hands down. It took about a year.
That's a good one though. That doesn't deserve to be 8th on an album.
No, it's either, but that's abnormal. Usually the ones I love come in like minutes or hours.
Right, passion influenced, and yeah. That's me with a good closing argument, I guess. Question 2, what is your favorite thing to sing about?
Say that again, sorry.
What is your favorite thing to sing about?
Probably my wife, if I'm honest. I mean, that what shows up the most.
Yeah. Okay. What is your...
But I think on as like an idea, it's a good question. I love telling stories. It's like my favorite. And just pure when I'm writing a song, where I get the most enjoyment as a songwriter is when I find a really awesome story song that I like. That makes my dopamine go as a writer.
I love that answer. What is your favorite song that you made?
Probably Learning to Love Again off of my Young Love record lately. It changes, but I would say that one has been hitting hard when I play it to myself.
What was the song that made you like that you had? Hold on. All right, here we go, Bennett. What was the song that made you like that you had it in you, or that you made it? What was the song that made you?
Like what song was I shocked that I had written myself?
I think that's right. I think that's 13-year-old interpretation.
Like he's like, wow, how did I do this?
Yeah.
I mean, Nothing Left to Lose is still that way when I play that song. I'm like, it's like just a really, there's a lot happening in that song as a songwriter when you try to like crack the code on songs.
Right.
I had no idea I was doing, as far as like there's mystery, there's realness, there's, I don't know, there's just that song, every time I play it, I'm like, wow, I wrote this.
That's great. That's great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more Bennett questions. What or who influenced you to be a singer-songwriter? That's a good question.
I mean, we grew up, there was like Paul Simon, James Taylor, were big in our house. But then I also listened to a lot of like hip hop music. So like Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
De La Soul.
Yeah.
That was those are my influences growing up.
De La Soul was so great. Like,
Yeah.
just 3 Feet High and Rising was probably one of the most worn out records or tapes. I don't remember even what era that was. I think it was tapes.
Yeah.
Might have been
Yeah,
CDs.
probably tape. Just tape and the CD.
It was so good.
Me, myself, and me, myself, and plug one, plug two.
Yeah.
Those were just, I love that stuff a lot.
Love it. I'll wear my De La Soul Nikes to the show next week.
Sick.
What's your favorite place to perform?
Where people like me.
Good. Anywhere they sing along?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
What was your singer-songwriter? What was your favorite singer-songwriter as a kid?
Probably, if you consider Bob Marley a singer-songwriter, he's my favorite.
Well,
He was my favorite in high school.
Bennett is going to love that answer because he's a Bob Marley head, and like we watched the movie One Love like last summer, and
He's like my favorite.
oh, so good. Have you been to Jamaica? Like, have you performed in Jamaica?
No, I've never been. Have I been? I've never been. No, nor have I performed. But I'm like, just my brother lived in Hawaii. Something about Oregon. Bob Marley is a massive, like, just, hippie culture. There's just like, it was just everywhere. You would have thought he was like the NSYNC of my high school. Like, Bob Marley was the most popular artist by far. Everyone had one of his CDs in there.
Have you gotten into Mishka at all?
Not really. I feel like I have a song saved from, but no, I don't know.
If you get, you just need to put on some headphones, grab some old Mishka. I met him in Jacksonville and we became friends. My wife and I eloped to Hawaii, and he sat on a rock and played guitar for us, and then went on Jimmy Buffett's tour like the next year.
Oh, wow.
And like this movie set photo of just this guy that I met at a concert that's really talented. He grew up on boats. Like he's kind of the real deal, but he's got great stuff. What's your favorite artist to work with? That's a tough question.
I don't really work with other artists, but of the artists I've worked with, I really enjoyed working with this band, The Brook and the Bluff. They played on a bunch of my songs for this new record. And they're like, I'm just a fan. That's how it ended up happening.
Right. And then the last Bennett question, if you could work with any other artist, who would it be?
Any artist?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a great question. I mean, probably it would be fun to hang out with Springsteen for the day.
Oof.
So I just would like to be in a room with him and hang out with him.
His Howard Stern interview is really, really good, like insightful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that one yet.
That's another one. Pull up Sirius XM on a road trip and just kind of, he plays songs and like they just go back and forth, and it's a time killer, like on a long trip. So one dad question and then the usual plug question. So we have a beach house in St. Augustine, and in the kids' bedroom area, there's now a piano and a guitar, and Dad's trying to get them into music. I was never really good at it. Their mom was better. But what lessons or what would you offer kids wanting to learn how to play music?
Yeah. I wish I knew more, because I'm in the same conundrum with my own kids, because I didn't take any lessons I've never had lessons in my life. I didn't start till I was in college, really. High school, like my senior year, I think I started playing piano a little bit, and it was just me messing around on one. Never owned one. So I don't really know how you're supposed to do it. I'm like, asking the same questions. I'm like, should I put my kids in piano lessons? I'm asking all my musician friends I respect, like, do you just let them, like, are they drawn to it like I was, or do they need some, like, formal training growing up? So, yeah, I don't really know. I think I'm going to put my kids in piano lessons. You're supposed to, my friends that are really serious, this I don't know if this is an interview answer.
Right.
But my friend who's really serious is like, you got to start them at like 4.
Right.
Put them in when they're kids and they don't even know. They're just like, they don't hate it or love it. They just know how to do it. And then later in life, they'll have all the skill. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't have that.
My law partner did that with soccer, and like his kids just only know soccer, but they're now they're traveling everywhere. And like my kids are just kind of like normal kids. They do a little bit for a little bit, and then they do something else for a little bit. Just kind of living a life. So
that's not bad.
Tuesday, May 13th, Jacksonville, Florida Theater. What can fans expect?
Top to bottom petty covers. So, it's like a great show to me is like, it feels like Goodwill Hunting or something. It makes you laugh, make you cry, make you feel things. It was fun. I don't know. I like crafting my shows like a good 90s drama. That's the goal, is like make you feel a lot of different feelings, but have a great time. And you probably know some songs. Most people they know
right.
one or two. But yeah, this show's really fun. This is like one of the better shows we put on. I'm really proud of it. I feel like getting a little older, you just don't care about the result.
Right.
Or you don't care about the dumb stuff, which weirdly makes a better result. Or you just, I don't know how to say it. When you don't care what people think and you're doing it for the love and passion that you have, I think it's more contagious and more fun for everybody.
It is, because all of us, no matter what we do, have our insecurities that dictate how we respond. And like at some point in the last few years, similarly, I've done better. Like I'm happier when I'm just doing my best and doing it with passion.
Well, there's a funny thing about how I've been on this identity journey for years, and it was like when I became a successful musician, all of a sudden I started putting my identity in that. As a 23-year-old, you're like, this is what I am. I am a successful musician. That's who. And then you find out that doesn't really mean anything. And as soon as that's like shaken or challenged or gets a little on some, shaky ground, you are like, I don't know who I am. And so I think as I gotten older, you realize a musician is a part of the expression that flows out of me. It doesn't define who I am. And that has changed my whole way I approach the whole thing, and it's been so much more fun. Just being grateful and thankful to be there, and I don't know, not defined by it.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. Literally, it's an hour from our Jacksonville house to our beach house, and your songs are in heavy rotation and heavy singing, windows down. Like I can probably find one where I've turned around and filmed, and particularly lines about, being a kid singing in the back seat, it breaches my generation, it breaches their generation. When I saw you were in town, I never flex I own FOLIO Weekly muscles, and I don't do the interviews anymore. I'm busy being a lawyer. But I was like, hey, I'll take that one.
I love it.
I'll grab Matt and get my 20 minutes, and my 20 minutes is up. But brother, I appreciate it.
Hey man, I I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys down there.
All right, awesome. We'll see you next week, and
right.
be safe. And if you need anything, we're here.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Take
bye-bye.
care.